Hi everyone, I'm here at Little Flock Farms with Gus Darnell, and I want to point out the difference between what we see here and what goes on in factory farms, okay? At a factory farm you have a big long chicken house full of chickens that are trampling each other, not being treated well by human beings. Here at Little Flock Farms we have 60 little chickens to what we call a chicken tractor, okay? And they stay in here, and these tractors are rotated. They start at the back of the field and rotate up every day, once a day. Gus, can you tell us why that's so important to rotate them up as often as you do?
Yeah, so we move them every day so that way we can manage their impact on the land and make sure that they have a clean spot with fresh grass and fresh bugs to graze. And then we also, are keeping them in these kind of open huts so that way they get a fresh breeze and sunlight, all things that are closed off from the large-scale chicken houses.
Okay, you guys, you heard Gus say managing the impact on the land. That's so important because in factory farming, we don't have any management of the land. It just is what it is all day, every day, and without that rotation, the land gets destroyed, the chickens are not as healthy, and it's not good for the environment. So really look at the difference between what we have here in a privately owned small farm as opposed to what we see in factory farms. Gus, what is your biggest challenge as far as making a living or money or whatever it is, not a living, but whatever you do, what is the biggest challenge that you face competing with factory farms?
I think probably the biggest challenge for us is just the scale of things. Like we don't fit into the scale of agriculture that Georgia has deemed the best agriculture. And so for us to get feed, for us to get any sort of like loans or grants or anything to help build our business is usually much harder for us to convince someone that we are worthy of getting those things. So feed is definitely one of the biggest issues, and then processing is definitely one of the biggest issues. Because like the closest facility to process birds is 3 hours away from here.
Oh wow, okay.
And so we, those are the kind of general things, but then also educating the people in our community about why getting this chicken is better than chicken that you can get from the store, which is why you're here.
Yes, and only you can explain that, Gus. Please, let's tell everybody why this is so much better than just blindly walking through the grocery store and buying the big brand that you're so used to seeing. That's where everybody's eyes go. I know why this is better, but can you tell people, because most of the world does not know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, first and foremost, the chicken that we produce is healthier than the chickens that you can buy in the grocery store. They have a much more diverse diet, which means that they have much more access to different vitamins and minerals and proteins than they can get from just feeding them corn and soy from, a factory farm. And then the next step would be that the animals are treated much better. We are with these animals from their first day of life to the last day of life, and it's just Meg and I. They don't have to deal with people that don't care about them coming in and treating them with disrespect. And then the last thing would be the land and the idea of maintaining our land and not only using it but restoring it by giving the land the things that it needs, by fertilizing it, by using it to its maximum capacity and regenerating. Right. It's called regenerative farming because we're bringing it back to the state that it should be in.
Okay, regenerative farming. Also, guys, everybody, none of these birds are being injected with steroids or antibiotics like we do see in factory farms. And I could go on and on about factory farms, but here's the thing. Google factory farms, Google chicken factory farms specifically, and Google how they're processed. It's not pretty. I don't want to post a video because I'm trying to promote the other side of it. But if you Google it enough times and you see it enough times, you know the difference really quick between this and what we see in the grocery store. Gus, the most important thing of all, how can people, we know this and we see all this, but how can people get this? What's the best way to get meat from you?
Signing up through www.communitymeatco.com and we do a CSA program, so it's a monthly share. So once a month, if you sign up, you get a package that you pick up with local beef, pork, and then our chicken that's all packaged together. All sustainably raised, humanely raised, grass-fed beef, pastured pork. So if you want to support local farms, that's how you get in touch with us.
So if you want to support local farms instead of factory farms that are very abusive to chickens, cows, pigs, you name it, you go to www.communitymeatcode.com and get signed up and start supporting the right way of doing things. Right?
That's it.
Okay.